I guess I'll let you do this part. Everybody, is your boy Sinfanta and
It's none of the brave wolf.
every time Marv does the horn, yes, that's right. What up, everybody? Hope you had a wonderful week, a wonderful weekend. We're here live.
It's Memorial Weekend.
What? Memorial Weekend?
Yeah, it is Memorial Weekend. Shout out to the veterans that we're remembering and all that jazz, you know what I'm saying?
Shout out to everybody that put their lives on the line, regardless of my opinion.
Yeah.
Everybody, thank you so much for being here. Make sure you check out Marv live right now doing the podcast, but on twitch.tv/Bravery Arcade. And you can also check us out on youtube.com/Bravery Arcade if you want to see the podcast there, as well as on Spotify.
Spooks, Apple, and Spootyfly.
Apple and Spotify. Man, yo, how you been, Marv?
I've been sexy, man. I've been sexy, you know. I'm gonna be moving studios sometime next week, and spending a hell of dough on all this construction and moving, but stuff is getting done, which I'm happy for. That's pretty much taking up all of my time. How about you, Sin? How's your week been?
Well, I honestly, my eyebrows got a little heavier this week, so
as they should.
It's been a pretty content weekend and week, but now I'm a little upset because you guys need to hit like and leave reviews on our podcast.
Yeah, man, do it. You do it. Just do it.
Do it! Just do it!
Yeah, make me and Sin's dreams come true.
Right, or else I'm gonna be karateing your asses.
Oh yeah, we did say we were gonna do karate this stream.
I got you.
That's as much as a karate I can do. Wash on, wash off. Wash on, wash off. That's as much as karate as I can do.
Take your jacket off.
Yeah, take your jacket off, jacket on. Nah, I didn't like the jacket off version. I was like, come on, what is this? Hey, I mean, I'm more about the classics, but it's just me. It's just me.
It's funny. I will say the newer movie, I liked it at first, and then like as I got deeper into the movie, I realized how much of the movie's martial arts was so unreal. But anyways, we're not gonna get into it.
It's called The Karate Kid, but the kid's doing kung fu, which is very different. But whatever.
All right, guys, we got a lot of gaming news today from not movie news, gaming news. Sorry about that, but it's also gaming, movie news, so, don't judge us. But anyways, we're here, we're live, and we got, you want to talk about the Zero?
Yeah, let's talk Zero, man, because we've been talking about the Nintendo Switch Pro since the podcast started, like, weekly. There's always been some kind of news every week about the Switch Pro. For the past 2 weeks, though, we haven't really had any news, and boom, this week it drops that apparently the Switch Pro is coming out, and it's not coming out, but it's going to be announced much sooner than we expected, bro. Apparently, this thing is going to be announced probably before E3 even. That's what they're saying. Reading from Eurogamer, the rumor mill is churning at high speed today as more reports are coming in surrounding the highly anticipated, but not yet officially announced Nintendo Switch Pro, with quotation marks around Pro. Earlier today, we reported that Bloomberg lifted the lid on some potentially exciting news that an upgraded Switch model will be revealed anytime now. Emily Rogers, who, if you guys don't know who Emily Rogers is, she is notorious for always dropping Nintendo rumors and news and being right most of the time. Like she knows her jazz. Like this lady knows her oatmeal from her cat food, right? So Emily Rogers has also subtly chimed in, giving everyone another reason to keep refreshing social media for an official announcement. Now it's Eurogamer who pointed towards an imminent announcement to the improved Switch, saying the following on the matter: Nintendo's long-awaited Switch upgrade is expected to be shown ahead of E3. Ahead meaning before even E3. According to the report published by Bloomberg today and Eurogamer's own sources, news editor Tom Phillips also goes on to explain the reason as to why it could be revealed before E3. I understand this is to ensure third parties working on games which support the upgraded Switch are free to announce these projects at E3 and before Nintendo's own digital showcase later in that week, which in my own understanding, announcing it before E3 is because there's so much Switch news and games is going to be announced during E3. There might not be enough time if they reveal the Switch Pro at the E3. So it'll take away time from their third party announcements or whatever, or even their own personal game announcements. But either way, finishing off the article, it says time will tell, but rest assured we will let you know as soon as we hear any announcements. So huge. This is huge. If they announce before E3, and then they say that it might even come out in November. Sin, what's your thoughts on this, brother?
First of all, I just wanna make it clear that Emily Rogers the majority of the time is right about things, which also makes me wonder, why does Nintendo keep letting this person get away with announcements?
I don't know.
But
I don't know.
Like, well, here's the thing, and I'm answering that question. I'm just, laughing about it because it's pretty funny. But in the past, there was somebody else that used to get inside sources from Nintendo themselves. And the problem that happens is that the individual may not work within Nintendo, but the individual might know something someone within Nintendo, and they'll get in touch with them anonymously. And so it's pretty hard to track down. Besides that, however, I guess they learned their lesson. They were like, well, we just keep our lid as close as possible, and whatever gets out, gets out. And you can't really pursue someone that's reporting some news like this because it's fruitless at this point. Online is everywhere. That's it. The Switch Pro, listen, if Nintendo doesn't take advantage of the hype happening right now behind the Switch Pro, I don't know what to tell you. I feel like the Switch is doing great. I feel like we're objectively know it's doing better than ever. But you always want to do what the president of Nintendo said. Don't rest on your laurels. Do not think that we're comfortable. Let's push forward. And that's what they should do now. They should make sure they come out with a console that can handle the graphics that the third-party companies are going to be coming out with for the Xbox 5 and the PS5 and the Xbox Series, whatever the crap. So
yeah.
Other than that, there's other inconsistencies within the Nintendo Switch that upset me, such as the Joy-Cons being constantly broken, which I hope they fix, and the online not being as great as it should be. So those are things that I'm looking forward to being upgraded once a new console comes out.
Bingo. I think exactly how you do. I also heard the rumors that it's going to have an Ethernet port built into the dock. I also heard it's going to be OLED screen, 4K. And I haven't heard anything about it having a D-pad, but I'm hoping that it does come with a D-pad. I understand the whole point of having buttons instead of a D-pad was because so that when you split the Joy-Con and you're playing multiplayer with one Joy-Con each, it can feel like a real controller instead of, you're pressing a D-pad button. But I think there's just too many games that would feel a lot better with a D-pad, honestly. But yeah, 4K, OLED, Ethernet port built into it. Those are big quality of life changes that we kind of need right now, especially because everyone has been adapting the 4K televisions or quality on their TVs, and movies are in 4K now. It only makes sense. PS5 and Xbox. Nintendo's never really been. This will be a big surprise for me because Nintendo's never really been this close to modern technology with their consoles. If you remember when HD technology started coming out 10 years ago, they came out with the Wii, which still used component cables instead of an HDMI.
No. The Wii U, they were still like, and yeah, they came out with the HDMI, but they were adapting for a while too. So
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So this will be Nintendo kind of being really fast to the new technology, faster than they've ever been to adapting new technology, because even the PS4 and the Xbox, whatever last the previous Xbox was called, we're still only 1080p HD. And now consoles that came out last year are 4K. With the Switch Pro, which I think that's what people are calling it, being 4K only a year after 4K official consoles are on the market, this is the fastest they've adopted newer technology. Even with an OLED screen and in 4K, I don't think you can do 4K undocked. I think that's going to be a dock thing. But either way, this is
I don't know.
great news. And before E3, that means we might be talking about this next week on next week's we might have to have a impromptu podcast after this announcement if it gets announced sometime during the week, because E3 is 2 weeks from now. So that means they would have to announce this next week. So what I would assume is they would do a direct on a Wednesday or Thursday prior to E3. That's just my
Right.
thoughts. So me and you might have to take that night and dedicate it to us a bonus episode of the podcast so we can talk about it. I mean, what do you
I
think?
mean, one last thing on this, I would say, yes, we need to do an impromptu. We probably will have to. If you guys want to see us do an impromptu podcast, make sure you let us know on any other locations that you find this podcast on.
Bingo.
Secondly, I feel like 4K is not a necessity. It's still, even though it is being adapted in movies and TVs are becoming less expensive for that region of the market, it is still pretty expensive for the majority of people. But I do feel as though at least have, what is it? Not adapt native, but the other one.
I don't know.
The one that they upscale. So if they at
Yeah.
least have upscaled 4K, I would accept that, because I know it will be difficult to dock an undocked. An undocked
4K.
Switch for 4K. Yeah. The OLED 4K. That sounds ridiculous at this moment. The technology will cost so much to do that.
Maybe because remember they're using Nvidia's technology on the Switch, and Nvidia has already adopted 4K on other devices that they create. So I mean, it's not too outside the realm of possibility that undocked could do 4K, but I doubt it. I doubt Nintendo would do that for undocked. It's like the screen still looks great undocked, even at 720p. So I don't know. It's a maybe there.
I remember in the beginning, a lot of the Nintendo Switch games that came out with the dock option for non first party Nintendo games, they looked so grainy. Even Xenoblade Chronicles 2, I'm sorry, until the update looked so grainy.
Undocked.
I undocked, yeah, it was so bad. And then the first parties did fine, but it it took them a while. Like, I don't remember when the patch came out, but it took them a while.
What's up, Alucard?
Yo, Alucard, what's up, fam? Yeah, it just took them a while to get it set down and prepped. So that's why I'm thinking, 4K that adapts, fine. Upscales, fine. It gives third parties wiggle room to come in and say, hey, we could still do the games. It's just we're gonna have to downscale it a little bit like we used to, and fine, no problem. But the problem that always comes to mind until this Nintendo president, the new Nintendo president, takes charge with that new philosophy, I still always get concerned with Nintendo always talking about profit margin. And I know they're a gaming company only, which makes them, more susceptible to the market when they hemorrhage money. I understand selling at a loss is a big risk. But are you kidding me? You can uptick that. You're the main proprietor of their first party games. you make that profit back times 5, 6, 7 within a year. So put the content in there. Make sure the cooling system works. Make sure it's not a fan. Like this one is what is it? It's a fan. It's a fan with a stream like mechanic on it. Make sure it's a nice cooling system. Yeah, it's gonna be expensive, and just pop in the strongest graphics card. That's it.
What do you think about the announcement coming before E3 rather than during E3?
I think that doesn't seem likely. If anything, I think it will happen during E3, and it will happen as a subtle situation, not a big announcement. It'll be like, oh, in the end, here's a sneak peek, boom, name and console, rather than just because that's what they did in the past with the Wii U. That's what they did with the Wii. All they did was we got one last thing to show you. They just showed the console, they showed the name, and said, either date or soon. GameCube, let me see. Did they do that with the GameCube? No. GameCube was the only one they didn't do that with.
GameCube was at Space World. That's when they still were
but they
doing
showed
Space
it
World.
live. Like they showed it.
Yeah, they held it out probably.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
my thoughts are, I agree with you. It does seem weird to not announce it at E3. But my only thoughts is for the only reason they would actually do that is like they said in the article is that E3 is so jam packed with games. We're coming out of the pandemic, and last year I'm sure game development got slowed down, and there's probably so many games they were supposed to announce last year that they couldn't do because of the pandemic. That maybe this year there's so many games at E3 that if they put the Switch Pro in there too, they're not gonna have times to announce those games. Let's face it, we got Bayonetta 3 still we don't know about. We got Metroid Prime 4 we don't know about. We got Breath of the Wild 2. Breath of the Wild 2 could take up a whole E3 by itself. Remember that too. So I mean that I can't see it happening that they wouldn't announce it at E3, that they would do it before. I can't picture it, but it could happen. A week before E3 it could happen. And then they could just show off the actual physical console in somebody's hands during E3. Yeah. I don't know. Remember, this is still an online E3, so even if they show it off in somebody's hands, it's not really that big of a difference because they're not doing a stage. They're not doing a stage, show or whatever. But it's interesting. It's interesting to hear that they would announce something a week before E3 like that.
There's also it's funny that you keep mentioning games because now you on top of the ones that you mentioned, you also have to stack. You could stack Pokemon conversation on top of that.
Yeah, we could get Pokemon Aquarius and Diamond and Pearl remakes.
And and then you could stack on top of that Metroid conversation.
Yeah, Metroid.
Travis touchdown, the next one. Like, hello.
They could show a new trailer. I think it would be overshadowed at E3, honestly, especially if we got Breath of the Wild 2 and Metroid and Bayonetta 3 and Pokemon.
Heroes 3 would not be overshadowed. I doubt it.
I don't know. At E3, you talking about Breath of the Wild 2? You're talking about Metroid Prime 4?
You're right.
So you know what I'm saying? These are Nintendo's biggest games. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know.
On the card on twitch.tv/Bravery Arcade says, speaking of E3, you think company will stick with it this year or just drop it and stream their own jazz? Because they literally will pay millions for a stream if they do so.
Well, E3 is all digital this year. There's no physical location for E3, so you know what I'm saying? I don't. They've already announced what companies are going to be there and what companies are not. Sony's not going to be, if I'm not mistaken, Sony's not going to be taking part in E3, but Nintendo and Microsoft are, and a lot of the most companies are going to be taking part in E3 digitally this year. So, and I don't know if that answers your question, but yeah, most companies are going to be taking E3. Still is gamer Christmas for us. You know what I'm saying?
I guess what he's asking is, are they going to charge us? And my answer to that would be barbaric and moronic. All they have to do is have the website stream it for free, have YouTube and Twitch stream it for free from their own algorithm. And they will make money. They will make money just simply from the amount of people that are going to go watch, from concurrent viewers. It will literally make tons of money.
I didn't get that at all from what he was asking, but no, they would never charge for E3. No, because why would you charge for publicity? You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Free
hold on,
publicity
because
is really
E3
good.
charges
If
IRL. That's
physically,
why.
if you go there physically, but if it's all digital, you're not gonna charge for a digital stream. This is gonna be right there on Twitch to watch it live. They're not gonna charge us for that.
Right.
That'd be moronic for them to put a paywall on selling us something. You know what I'm saying? Because E3 equals pre-orders. You know what I'm saying? When they get the pre-orders, there's a boost for GameStop and everywhere else for games. And there's a boost for these companies. They get a little bit of profit off of just announcing something that is not even done yet. There's no way they're going to charge you for E3 when they could just make their money off the back end of you guys going out and pre-ordering, which I think pre-ordering is still an idiotic move for gamers. I don't know why we do that still. I've never pre-ordered nothing. Well, I pre-ordered a game when I was a little kid, but pre-ordering nowadays is moronic. But no
Especially with the
paywall.
bots.
Yeah, no pay. There ain't gonna be no paywall on E3, bro. Get out of here. What are you talking about? Rocky 3 is a good movie. Come on.
Rocky 3 is a good movie. Hey.
Come on. What are we talking about over here? You ready to move forward?
Let's move forward.
Yo, Sonic had a big week, bro. Sonic's 30th anniversary
What?
this week.
Talk about it. Tell me about it.
Pretty much, we got 3 game announcements and a TV show announcement. Essentially, Sonic Colors is getting a TV show, which it's bizarre to me for them to use the Sonic Colors branding for a TV show. When it has the art style of like Sonic Mania. They have a trailer for it. I mean, maybe Robbie can pull it up and put a little clip of it here. But it looks like Sonic Mania artwork in the footage, but still good for Sonic. He's becoming a multimedia juggernaut. Other than the TV show, we got 3 game announcements. Sonic Origins, which is a collection of Sonic 1, Sonic 2, Sonic 3, and Sonic and Knuckles. Some people say Sonic and Knuckles and Sonic 3 are like a connected one game, but I don't know. I like to think of them as 2 games still. Then they also announced Sonic Colors Ultimate, which is a remaster of Sonic Colors with extra content and better graphics, which is coming to all the consoles. Lastly, we got an announcement of a Sonic game with no title, but the rumored title is Sonic Rangers. And the rumor is that that game is going to be a Breath of the Wild style open world Sonic game with Ubisoft towers and, you know, running around a gigantic map and whatever like that. Which I'm trying to understand how that would work. I feel like Sonic is so fast that he could run across a map and it would make a open world kind of feel obsolete. But I don't know. I'm here and there with the Sonic Rangers idea. I don't know if they nerf the speed or the map is just so big that it doesn't matter
They
how
could make
fast he
a
goes.
big enough map. Yeah, they could.
I'm sure they
before
could.
you
I'm sure
continue.
they could. I'm sure. I'm
No.
trying to picture it in my head.
So I'll show you a video later about from Xenoblade Chronicles X that will show you.
Yeah, but we're talking about a character that moves so fast that you're running past the point of an open world. The point of an open world.
No.
I'm saying that look, listen to the what I'm saying. The whole point is when you're in open world is to absorb the vastness. At least if it's Breath of the Wild style, the vastness of it all. It's to stand still for a second and see the world just be. You know what I mean? You look into the horizon, you see everything from a distance, and you see something in the distance, and you say, "I'm gonna go over there. I'm gonna find a way to reach that point in the map." And you set up your own adventure, kind of. With Sonic, unless they nerf his speed, you're not really like absorbing the vastness of a world. You know what I mean? Like I feel like you're running past the little minute details that make an open world worth it. Like standing at the top of a tower as Link in Breath of the Wild, you look around, you turn that analog stick, and you're just looking around. And you're like, wow, they built this giant world, and I can go anywhere in it, and there's something to do in every little sector of it. With Sonic, I feel like he's so fast that it's like you don't take the time to absorb all that. I don't know. What are your thoughts on all that?
I was listening to what you were saying, and it does make sense to me partially. But the reason it still works for me is because when I played Xenoblade Chronicles X, there was a point in the game that the original character that you played as was just an avatar could run decently fast. Just the character. Um, I'm trying to think about this appropriately.
It's fast like
They would
Sonic
probably
though.
run at no, hold on. They would run as 25% as fast, just the original character, right? And eventually, because the game, the world was like Breath of the Wild's world is big, but Xenoblade Chronicles X's on the Wii U was maybe 4 times as bigger. Maybe I think it's bigger than that. Uh, and then at some point in the game, I think it was like 50% of the game, you'd get a scale, which was a huge armor mech thing, and it will drive about 50% of Sonic's speed. At some other point, you got the flying ability, which then would go, I would say, as fast as Sonic, and it still let you fly. You could still see every detail on the ground, and it you still had things to do while you were flying and places to appear too. But the problem that, as you're talking, that kept coming up in my mind was, okay, well, it's different when you're in the air, and there's still things to do in the air and the ground. But when you're on Sonic, you're gonna be on the ground permanently. So,
My
how would they
what
balance that?
what I also took away from what you just said is that these these speeds that you're talking about are not default speeds. I'm thinking you turn on the game and you're expecting to play as Sonic, and you're looking at old Sonic games and seeing how fast he goes. Think about how much you can absorb from a Sonic world when you're going so fast. In Sonic Adventure, when you're walking around the map, because they do have a little mini open world in Sonic Adventure. It has loading screens, but it's minute open world. It's a little open world. Um, that game didn't have a lot of detail and a lot of things to look at and stand around. Like you don't gaze into the distance and say, "Wow, look at this horizon and look at all the things I can do in this world." You kind of just walk from one point to your next objective, and that's it. There's not really anywhere to stop and breathe. With a Sonic open world, I think the same thing. At a default speed, Sonic as fast as he moves in like Sonic Adventure or even the newer games, I don't know. Like even in the Sonic Boost games, like yo, Sonic moves so fast that I would rather have little obstacle courses spread out across the open world. Maybe that's how you make it work. Like Sonic
Yeah,
still moves fast.
I just thought about a game that's a good point. Starlink, that
What,
came out for the Switch.
what is it?
Starlink. I have
Okay.
the
Yeah, I know
Starlink
that
Battle for
kind of
Atlas.
Star Fox kind of game that has Star Fox in it.
Yeah, yeah, that was a point. That was a game for the Switch that had multiple, humongous planets, and Star Fox's ship moved as fast as something like Sonic, but it had things to do. Ow. It had things to do at every crevice. Yeah, my hand's still hurting. Every crevice. So I guess for somebody like Sonic, they can make it vast as something like Starlink, but sprinkle things to do, and it won't be. And that's something that Marv is making a good point, guys. For everybody who's listening, it wouldn't be anything like what you've experienced in recent open world. It would be more like akin to Starlink, where they would have sprinkled things here and there, and it won't be about exploration and exploring the world and looking at the vastness of the world. Because at Sonic speeds, you're not really gonna stop and care and stare at every little thing. At that point, you just don't care. You have so much to explore. Stopping is gonna be dumb.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. It's gonna be like point A to point B, and then maybe you go into a dungeon, and that dungeon is a race course, like a normal Sonic level. That's what I'm
Ooh.
thinking. That's what I'm thinking. How you make it work? The world is big, but then there's little points in the map where you go into a race course, and it's a normal Sonic level. Which,
That sounds so
if
good.
that is the case, it sounds good. I still feel like the world map becomes a world menu at that point.
Yeah, no. You know what?
Yeah.
I wouldn't even mind that if like the world menu, the big map, had things to like. I wouldn't say side quests, but side stories that if you want to explore, you can get, and like obviously trinkets and side obstacles, and then like there's like huge stories like the shrines, sprinkled about that you have to do, and then like main stories laid on top. Dude, that would be fantastic because then it gives you a reason to keep running, to keep finding
It
things.
does.
That
It
oh,
does. It does. I
oh
mean,
my god.
they can make this work. Maybe I have to see it in gameplay to understand it because my brain can't wrap around it just yet. But I mean, kudos to Sega for trying something new. I also feel like these titles for these Sonic games are getting worse and worse. Uh, Sonic Colors Ultimate. You call it remastered. Why does that have to sound like a fighting game? Um,
Such
so,
a bad name.
yeah, like Sonic Colors Ultimate. I don't know, man. What is that? Then you got Sonic Rangers, which is. I mean, when they did Sonic Forces, I was like, this title, it's not bad, but I mean, I don't know why
Sonic
Sega.
Rangers.
Yeah, it sounds like Power Rangers. It sounds like something like that. Like I don't know, man. Uh, what also could be the case in Sonic Rangers, which I just thought of now that we talked about Power Rangers, is they bring back that create a character thing from Sonic Forces, and maybe you're playing as your created character just as much as you're playing as Sonic. That way, traveling the open world can be different between different characters. Sonic fans, they love OC characters. They love the fan base. That whole community is all about the OCs because there's so many Sonic characters. Maybe you'll be able to play as different characters and traverse the world
I
differently
mean,
depending on your character.
you just killed my head because what about if Tails could fly through that open world and aid Sonic?
That's what I was thinking too. It'll be closer to Genshin Impact than Breath of the Wild because of the character switching. It's a possibility. It's a possibility. To wrap up this Sonic news though, unless you have more thoughts, you have more thoughts on it.
Nah,
Uh,
we
to wrap up this Sonic news, we got Roger Craig Smith, the voice of Sonic, which we've been talking about for a while. Apparently, he's coming back to be Sonic after like saying he was gonna retire as Sonic.
What?
Yeah. So he announced this morning he will be back as the voice of Sonic in future games. He is quoted as saying, "I can't say it with gratitude. Sonic the Hedgehog crew and community." Smith wrote on Twitter with a photo of the restored blue heart. "I pay tribute to your support and passion." Smith surprised his fans January. Clearly, he no longer plays Sonic. This article is written so horribly. Why am I reading it from here? Point being, he was gonna retire from being Sonic, and he's coming back as Sonic, which I guess the fans' outcry must have, had people rethink. Yeah, rethink. Recasting Sonic. I mean, he's fine. Like, he's not old. He's not going anywhere. He's still in the industry. I don't even know what was the whole point. If they were trying to get the Sonic voice from the movie, that was stupid. But he's fine. Stay where you're at, bro. You're okay, Sonic voice. You're not the voice I grew up hearing, but he's all right as Sonic. I like his voice as Sonic.
It's funny because we were talking about that before, but we didn't talk about how was the transition from the old Sonic to the newer, the older Sonic to the newer Sonic. To me, it was perfect. It wasn't jarring. At first, it felt like, what? But
well, I mean, Sonic first got his voice in Sonic Adventure, right? Which came out in like 1999. Before that, Sonic never talked. He was like Mario. He just was an animal without a voice. Most video game characters didn't have voices, so it was up to our imagination to give them voices. But Sonic did have TV shows. And Sonic's cartoon, he was voiced by Steve Urkel's actor, Jaleel White. And I think growing up watching the Sonic cartoon, I think it was on Channel 9 or Channel 5. You ever watch those cartoons?
mm-hmm.
Yes. So I think when Sonic Adventure came around, he sounded still like how he sounded on the cartoon, the Saturday morning cartoon. He sounded like Jaleel White to me. I almost thought it was still Steve Urkel doing Sonic's voice, but it wasn't. So I think even Roger Craig Smith to this day, I think they're all still doing the Steve Urkel, Jaleel White voice, kind of. They're just like little different nuances to it, but they still sound like kind of like Jaleel White. So I don't think they have to change it. I think even the movie Sonic voice, it's a little different, but it still sounds like Jaleel White to me. I don't know. Keep Roger Craig Smith. He does an okay job, and he's not retiring. I don't even know what the whole point of getting rid of him for.
How would you feel? How would you feel if they gave Sonic I mean, not Sonic. Knuckles a deeper voice.
They gave Knuckles a deep voice in the Sonic X anime. He had
And
he had Yu-Gi-Oh's voice. You know Yami Yugi? He had the same voice as Yami Yugi, which always bothered me. Like, why is his voice so deep like that? I always thought he was gonna summon the Heart of the Cards when I heard him. I was like, this guy. But they've never gotten Knuckles' voice that good. His Tails always sounds like a little kid. He ranges on
fine.
annoying. He ranges on annoying
No,
to charming.
no.
It's a thin line. It's a thin line. He goes from annoying to charming for me here and there, depending on what he's saying.
Yeah, it's depending on what he's saying. Yes.
Yeah, it depends on what he's saying. Sometimes it's really bad. Sometimes it's like, oh, he's charming. Little Tails with his little kid voice or whatever. But that wraps up the Sonic news. It was a good week for Sonic. 30th anniversary. We got some games. I'm assuming E3. Maybe we'll get Sonic Rangers footage. Because all this announcement came out pre E3.
And they just threw it there. They were just like,
well, they had to hit the date because this is it came out on the actual anniversary of his first game. So I get wanting to hit the date because if you wait for E3, you're going past the anniversary. But the whole year is his anniversary, so I don't even think they had to do that date. Unless this is part of Sega's plan, because remember we talked about a couple of weeks ago that Sega is entering a different mind state with their future releases. They're actually digging into their vault and pulling out a lot of their games that they haven't really paid attention to. A lot of their franchises that could make money for them that they just neglected. We also got Virtual Fighter footage this week. A remaster of Virtual Fighter 5, which we had on the list, but it's not a game me and Sen are really into that hard, so we got rid of it. But I hope we get to see more Sega stuff, and we actually have more Sega stuff on the list here of news, which we'll get to soon. But
yeah, why not hop over to that?
You want to hop to that first? You want to go to House of the Dead remake?
Yes, let's do it.
Okay, so I mean, let's jump right over then, bro. Let's barrel roll over there then.
Do a barrel roll.
Okay, so more details have released for House of the Dead. This is part of Sega's initiative once again to bring back a lot of their older titles that they've been neglecting for years. Apparently, it's coming first to Switch, but it's going to be on all 4 platforms: Steam, Xbox, PS4, Switch. It's going to be at 60 frames per second, 30 frames per second handheld, 720p docked and handheld. So damn, why couldn't it be 1080p docked? That's weird. UI has been redesigned. Classic mode where you can play with the original graphics, which I'm sure a lot of the OG fans might get a kick out of. Horde mode, a fast-paced 15 times the number of enemies, unlockable characters, and other things. Several controller options offered, including Joy-Con and gyro. This is still disappointing that they don't have a light gun for this. I don't even know if light guns work on modern televisions anymore. Maybe they would have to change the technology, but damn, man, I don't know if I could picture this game without having a gun in your hand.
That would have been nice because the Joy-Cons could have done. Moving on,
yeah. Remade voice acting purposely bad, which I like. I like the campy, horrible voice acting of House of the Dead always. Music extremely inspired by the original, but no option to listen to the original OST, which probably means they lost the files for the original music or they lost the rights to it. The engine is Unity, like Panzer Dragoon. HD Rumble for shooting effects. For research, the team played the original game via original hardware and emulation. No option to play the original House of Dead. Yeah, sources lost, and it's impossible to rip
look
assets.
at that. Yo, let's go. Get some horns up in here real quick.
Yeah, this is a good thing?
Dude, you got it right. Like, you was guessing the whole time. You didn't even know.
Well, they didn't do a good job taking care of any video game files back then. It was like shooting from the hip when they released the games. Nostalgia mode with lower polys, graphics considered if there is enough demand. So wow, this is not even like a thing set in stone yet. A demo of the remake may be considered if people request it on Discord and Twitter. This is a lot of bullet points here. The remake team has worked with Sega, but have not really talked to staff at Sega AM1.
Let me shoot through this. I'll do it faster
Yeah,
if you
go
want.
for it. Go for it.
All right, we got COVID has not affected production. The team is used to working remotely. I know. I wanted you guys to hear Marv today because he has, a smooth voice.
I do.
But move it on. Yes, your voice is sexy.
Hey, baby.
Hey, baby. It was always planned for House of Dead 1+2 remakes to be released separate. The ragdoll physics when killing enemies will not be changed. It is a critical feature for some weapons. Boss death animations will be unchanged. Crosshairs are different colors for each player. Hush. Blood color can be changed. Unlikely that the game will be at E3. Price point may be in $15 to $20 range. That seems good. The controls were tricky to implement, but the remake team is not concerned over any possible backlash. I am. The House of the remake improves daily and is claimed to be in a better state today than when Panzer Dragoon remake was launched.
Hey, say something.
I'm here. That last part just instantly worried me. I am not happy about seeing that they're talking about the controls were tricky to implement, but the remake team is not concerned over any possible backlash. The House of the Dead remakes improves daily and it claims to be in a better state today than when Really, guys?
Panzer Dragoon shipped kind of bad. Panzer Dragoon didn't ship that well.
So the last two bullet points instantly made me concerned. I don't care if it's within the $15 to $20 range. You instantly shot me in the foot with that. What do you mean? So you're gonna release it when it's not ready, and you're also not gonna have a demo. You're also talking about, you're not concerned about over backlash because it's, analog versus Joy-Cons pointing at the TV. We literally have the technology to do that. Everybody's decided not to do it. I'm not liking this. Instant. Like now I was on board, now I'm off board instantly.
Yeah, like these last couple bullet points really, really sound bad. I don't even know why they said it in this fashion. Especially saying that the game is in better condition than the last game they made, meaning they know their last game came out pretty bad. That's not a good feeling. I mean, and it's a low bar to pass. Saying the controls were tricky and that they're not worried about backlash means they expect backlash. When you say I'm not worried about the backlash, that means you're probably expecting it. And the price point being so low is to tell people like, wait, it's only $15. You can't complain. You get what you pay for. So, this is a bad start. If Sega is starting up with their old games, bringing them back, this is not a good start. But I think this is gonna be fun for a weekend. I think me and you can get drunk and play this.
Good point.
And still have fun with it because it is just a rail shooter. It's not meant to be played for a year and like, it's quick, dumb fun. But I will say the controls can break this can break this experience a lot if they don't work right. It can really, really break the experience. I mean,
I'm trying to hide.
I don't see why if the investment is there, if the idea is to bring back a franchise and to reinvigorate it, to not implement like a light bar like how the Wii had and just make a new gun that doesn't look like an actual gun so you don't get the complaint of the government or whatever. And yeah, USB it to the Switch, but then maybe you can't play it docked. Maybe that's the idea. I don't know. I mean, undocked. But they don't sound, this whole list doesn't sound enthusiastic about what they're creating. There's not a lot of passion in what they're doing.
Yeah, it when they started talking about, the music was inspired by the original stuff, I was like, oh, okay, great. They want to push through despite them losing the files. And then, the impossible, blah, 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 the sources are lost. Okay, well, you guys still push. Then you get to the last couple bullet points and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, and it says unlikely that the game will be at E3, which means it's not ready yet. It's not ready to be played by people. It's not ready for people to see it in a longer video. If E3 is digital, then they would be meaning that they're not going to be playing it digitally on E3. even recorded. So, oof, some red flags here, definitely. I don't know.
It's instant flags, brother.
Yeah, this is a tricky one. This is definitely a tricky one. But I wish him the best. House of the Dead can be fun. It can be a lot of fun, especially if you're playing the arcade version. It can be a lot of fun, but at home without the light guns, and then losing, and then saying the controls are tricky. The controls makes that game. The voice acting and the graphics and all that other stuff we can put up with that. We're used to it with that game. Freaking, I don't know about the controls though. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Okay. Well, guys, let us know what you think in the comment sections and where you find this podcast. But let's move on from this. We'll see what happens. Um, best of luck to House of the Dead.
Best of luck.
So you want to talk about Sakurai every time with that?
Okay. Yes. The story is that Sakurai is considering a early retirement, and which I'm sure many people are gonna say is well deserved. I'm gonna read off Kotaku right now. It says Matsuhiro Sakurai has a regular column in Japan's game magazine Weekly Famitsu. In the latest issue, just released and read by Kotaku's, Sakurai's article is titled "Everything Comes to an End." According to Sakurai, he wrote the article earlier this month at the end of the Golden Week, which is a string of national holidays in Japan. With Tokyo under a state of emergency due to COVID-19, Sakurai finally got much needed relaxed time, noting this is probably the first holiday I've had with consecutive days off in what, 10 years?
Whoa.
10 years? This
Whoa.
man. Well, Sakurai spent the time enjoying himself, going for a drive or at home watching movies and playing games. He mentioned how these kinds of days were what he'd imagined it would be like after he retired. Eventually, I'll get old and there's no way I can work forever, he wrote. To be frank, he continued, I wonder about being able to enjoy every day if I could make some free time. I do yearn for early retirement. Note, the word Sakurai used is akogarametsu, can mean yearn for, long for, or admire. I probably butchered the pronunciation on that word, but bear with us. The famed creator added that he thought the time might not be too far off. He is only 50 years old, and while he looks eternally youthful, he's been working in the game industry for a long, long time. He created Kirby when he was still only 19, helming Kirby's Dream Land in 1992. He even admitted that he often wonders how much longer he can keep doing his job. How far will I keep doing this? And after that, what will I do? Sakurai noted that while people are working longer and thus retiring later, the game industry is filled with youngsters. But he's not throwing in the towel just yet. I'm gonna finish there in the article. I think the rest of it is whatever. But
they have an update on the bottom.
oh, do they? Let's scroll to the bottom. Sakurai has issued a tweet about his latest Famitsu column, writing it wasn't the case that he was stopping his column because he was thinking about his age. I don't know what's next, he added, but I'm not retiring from the game industry. Probably the last word in his tweet. Tabon also means perhaps, possibly, or even maybe. Yeah, I was gonna say that regardless. That this is all just theoretical. He's not really talking about. He's not announcing his retirement. And even if he did, guys, we can. I think we can get by without Sakurai in the game. I think he deserves a retirement whenever he feels like he deserves it. And I think young blood can take over Smash after he's gone. I think it might be time for a new guard in Smash. He's not that they're gonna do as good of a job. They might not, but what are we gonna do? We're gonna work this man till he dies behind the computer screen? Sin, what's your thoughts?
Honestly, I've been hoping that since Brawl that he would stop doing the whole non-stop working morning to night, making games without because you don't get to enjoy games. At some point, it becomes all work, all work, no play, makes everything. So I don't mind if he goes for early retirement. I think he deserves it. I think he's had a big team come in and help him out with Smash Bros, which is the only high concern for me out of all the games he makes, because obviously it's a very demanding game that requires a lot of, you know, nicks and picks to be put together properly. Bes- Besides Smash Bros, there's other games that he's created, of course, that would worry me if it wasn't for who it is that's in charge and how easily they are to push forward, such as Kirby, which has been around for a long time, and the ease of access that it is. It isn't a difficult game to develop. Let's just be honest. And
Kid Icarus.
what is it? Kid Icarus with Pit and Palutena and whatnot. That kind of game has not had a good track record because of issues here and there. So I don't know how I feel. There's other games that he's made as well, which I cannot recall at the moment. I could only recall him from Smash Bros.
Not too
Those two
many.
other
Not too
games.
many. Those are like the core games he's worked on. Kirby, Kid
Yeah.
Icarus, only one game, The Uprising, and Smash Bros. Which
So
um I think we could do without him. I think he deserves a early retirement. I think so, but he doesn't sound like he's going nowhere. This wasn't. This was like a ponder. This was like a thought because he had a
yeah.
week off of work. He was just thinking like, man, what if my whole life was like this now, and I could just live and go home and breathe for once. Which sucks because as soon as he's done with all the DLC for this Smash, they're probably gonna start working on the next Smash Bros. Game, and he's probably gonna be stuck working hard again. But
I hope not.
but bro, I mean, let the guy retire. Let new blood come in. Even if Smash isn't as good, even if it's not as good as when he was in the helm, because there's gonna be a bumpy adjustment for the first guy. I guarantee you, after like the new guy's first game, maybe the next game, he'll adjust it. Because remember, Sakurai had his bump in the road too. He had Brawl. Brawl was a
Yeah.
big bump in the road where he kind of dropped the ball, mainly because of Nintendo's focus on the casual market at that time. But either way, people complained and people were like, "Yo, what happened? What's with the slipping and the tripping and all this slow motion fighting?" So, you know what I'm saying? Like, let new guys come in and let them make a mistake and let them learn from it. I wouldn't be surprised, given the way the Japanese people their culture is. I wouldn't be surprised if he has a protege that he's like training to take his place one day. Because Miyamoto had one, and that guy directed Mario Odyssey. Miyamoto actually didn't have nothing to do with Mario Odyssey. If people don't know, his protege,
Yeah.
which I forgot the guy's name. I don't even know.
And it's the same with the creator of The Legend of Zelda. Same thing.
Yeah, Miyamoto was the creator of Legend of Zelda too, and he had Satoru. No, what was his name?
I
Oof.
literally cannot remember.
Oh damn it, I don't remember his name either. But yeah, he passed off Zelda to him after Ocarina. He gave it to oh man, now I'm gonna be thinking this whole week. What's his name? Damn. And even this guy, the guy from Zelda, sounds like he might be leaving the ship too. Damn. What is his
That will
name?
be bad because I don't think he's ready.
Damn it. What
Let
is
me
his
see.
name? I'm Googling it right now. Um,
I don't remember.
oh, Ainuma. All Numa.
Oh my lord! Why could we not remember? Yeah, Eiji Aonuma.
Yeah.
Ah,
AJ Numa was the protege during Ocarina of Time. I think he started off just doing the dungeons in Ocarina, and then he became the headmaster during Majora's Mask. And what a strange game to start with, right? If we're talking about proteges, what a weird experiment that he started off with instead of like following the safe road and just creating Ocarina 2. He went and he made Majora, which is like a flip side of it's the B side of Ocarina. So I wouldn't mind seeing that either. Like imagine somebody takes Smash Bros and does the B side and like creates this crazy amalgam of ideas and I don't know. Who knows what could happen next, but I'm never afraid of change. A lot of people fear change. How do you feel about change, Sin? Someone else takes
I
over Smash.
I'm more hesitant when it comes to change simply because of my personal life experience. I've had so much change happen so quickly that I've had things alter in negative or positive ways very quickly in my life. So, but when it comes to Nintendo, they've been stuck in their old ways for so long, and I love them for that for so long, but it's caught up with them. And the only reason with the Switch it didn't catch up with them is because they kind of took what didn't work with the Wii U because of X, Y, and Z reason, learned, and we're like, we need to release something real quick to adapt with the market, and it just so happened to coincide with which way the market was going in the gaming industry, which was handheld, portable, sleek, and those kinds of things, all affordable. And so they've gotten so lucky with the strides that I'm thinking, yeah, change the guard. Eiji Aonuma is 58. He started in 1988, even though his Ocarina of Time was, where he put his mark on. He's been working in there for a long, just
Oh yeah,
almost
he
just
was
as long
there.
as he,
Yeah, yeah, he's been there.
so change the guard. There's 70 employees, within Legend of Zelda team. So um, Mario has been taken over. So why not? Like, let Sakurai. He's 50. He could he can rest, especially because he's had a triple like runner with the games that he's released. It's not as though he's just been sitting on his laurels.
I mean, just with Smash 4 alone, he made a 3DS version and a home console version. Was that task alone must have been crazy because they didn't even have the same stages. They had also exclusive features to each other, right?
Yeah.
That must have been tough, man. Making two games at once with different stages and different features.
They had different features. They had different mechanics. They weren't the same engine. So like there's so many things that you could just look at and be like, ah, you know.
Smash
No, no,
4
no.
probably was his most like craziest development because he had to do two games at once. That must have been crazy. Smash Ultimate probably was just as crazy because it had the "everything is here" moniker, meaning like it had to have everything from every Smash Brothers. So he had to go to Konami and get Snake back. He had to go bring back characters that have been dormant for a while. So that must have been crazy too. Plus the DLC negotiations. Smash Ultimate is driven now by its DLC, right? Um, so like
Yes.
that is crazy too. You got to implement new characters. If he brings another sword character, he gets so much criticism, even if he wasn't the one that made the call. Um, it's a tough thing. His life has been tough, but I'm sure he enjoys it. I'm sure he's not gonna retire for another 10 years. And in 10 years, I look forward to what comes next in Smash. I probably won't even. I don't even know if I'm still gonna be who I am today. 10 years from now, I'll be 40 years old. Will I be going on Twitch and playing Smash Bros again around that time? I don't know, but um, I embrace change though. I
Yeah.
would like to see
I
what would come next.
I wouldn't hesitate to embrace it within Nintendo if we're talking about Nintendo specifically. Yes, it's needed. It's super needed.
Even though he's not one of those guys from Nintendo that he's almost like an outside independent contractor because he doesn't necessarily work for Nintendo in the sense like he makes Smash, then he'll go work on a Mario game or work on his other. He works exclusively with Smash, and he doesn't make it at Nintendo. Namco is where he went to make Smash 4 and Smash Ultimate, and before
Yeah,
that,
after HAL Laboratory. Yep.
yeah, and then before that, he was working on it with if I'm
HAL.
not mistaken, Sora. No, I think he was working on it with Sora for
Yeah, that was his
Brawl.
own team.
Which is a team he built outside of HAL. HAL made Melee and they made the original. So yeah, I mean,
And so he's been doing Kirby and Smash and two Kid Icarus games. So it's just been Kirby Smash, Kirby Smash, Kirby Smash, Kirby Smash, Kirby Smash,
one Kid
and no
Icarus.
breaks.
He did one Kid
No breaks.
Icarus, which if he was able to take a break from Smash, I would like to see him do another Kid Icarus game for the Switch. Especially now that we
Yeah.
have dual analog controllers. I'm not gonna lie,
Properly.
the reason I didn't pick up Kid Icarus on 3DS is because I wasn't fond of the controls of it. Did you give it a try?
Yep. Yes.
Yeah.
Same thing.
I guess you didn't like it, huh?
No, it was the same thing. It's like, dude, this it would have been better on the Wii. Like, let me point at the TV. It's the same thing with the Switch. Like, why are we not using the pointer? Fine,
You're
but at least on
right.
the Switch,
You're right. I didn't even think of that. That game came out when the Wii was still out. It would have been fine on the Wii with the pointer. Damn, why didn't they do it on the Wii? I guess they needed a blockbuster game for the 3DS at the time though. Because
well,
if I'm not mistaken, 3DS didn't have a lot of hits in the first couple years. It took a
right.
while to find its footing. Even though it was
Oh
a
yeah,
great
3DS,
it was a great
3DS was
console.
trash.
Oh, take it easy. I like the 3DS.
No, no, no.
It
It
took
was
a
trash. It was
while.
trash at first.
Yeah, it was trash at first. It took a while to find its footing. It took a while. But I have a lot of great memories of 3DS, especially because I was in college with the 3DS and that Street Pass thing with in college, forget about it. I was coming across so many people with 3DS in college. It was amazing. That was like
I
the
enjoyed.
most sorry to interrupt, but that was like the most social I was with a console before with the
I enjoyed the
3DS.
3DS because of that, and also um, it, people complain about it, but I love the 3D, and I love it when they improve the technology on it when it could track your eyes. So like the 3D would never like leave your peripheral of your eyes. Oh, that blew my mind. And then unfortunately, it was too late by that point when it was a 3DS
Yeah, I
XL with
never
the
got to
track with the eye
experience
tracker,
that. Yeah, I never got to experience the tracking. To be honest, I never played any game 3D besides Mario 3D World.
which was great. 3D
3D
Land,
Land,
3D
3D
Land.
Land. I love 3. That's one of the few games I beat 100%. 3D Land, I beat the jazz out of that game. I've every flagpole at the top, then beat it with Luigi at the top. Got the golden Tanuki suit. Oh my god, I love 3D Land. I loved it.
And I feel like if they ever made a specific gaming TV with 3D, people will buy it in a hurry. If Nintendo was smart,
When 3D comes back, I don't know if you know the history of 3D on TVs. It comes and goes every like 10 years. It
they do
came
it
around
wrong.
in the
It's just they just do it wrong.
well, I think people get bored of it after a while. Like it's cool for every new generation, but really to think about it, I don't want to watch a whole movie with glasses on. I don't want to watch like it starts to bother me after a while. And then I take off the glasses and the screen is blurry. It's like, damn, what?
Well, you can't talk about 3D though. You only got one eye.
Very true. You can't see 3D with one eye. I had, but that was before the meme wars when the 3DS was out. So
We'll talk about it
I
one
still
day. One
had two
day.
eyes. One day we'll talk about the meme wars. One day. One
But
day.
yeah, we'll see what happens from then. And let us know what you think about that, guys. Let's rapid fire these last couple news.
Go for it, bro. You lead the
I
way.
got I got you guys. All right, so we got a Super Bomberman R coming out for free. Let me just head into this real quick, and it's free to play right now. It's a battle royale esque Bomberman R available on the eShop. It's essentially like Super Mario 35 and the Pac-Man battle royale. You essentially go up to each other, kind of like Bomberman R. For those that don't know, Bomberman R was a game that came out for the Switch early on in the console's release.
At launch,
Yes,
bro. Still getting
and
updates.
it's so decent. You could have done better. The game was good. I bought it. I enjoyed it. I loved it. I was upset that there wasn't even that many people playing online. It upset me extremely until I understood why, because at first the lag was so bad. I cannot stress to you why and how bad the lag was, but it was just horrendous. Then they did some updates and it got better, but that by that point the multiplayer died. So now they got the battle royale available for free to play. I believe you pay for other things within the game, but right now go check it out on the eShop. Next we have the news that Monster Hunter Rise has sold 7 million copies worldwide. Shout out to Monster Hunter Rise, guys. That's insane. That's insane.
It doesn't surprise me. Monster Hunter always sold good. People love it. You
Since
included.
Monster Hunter World, yeah, since Monster Hunter World has been doing great. And to celebrate the occasion, Capcom informed players that they can claim Camera Pack 3 for for free, which contains a number of potions and items for use in game. It's gonna Monster Hunter Rise is still time exclusive for the Nintendo Switch and is available at both retail and digitally for the eShop. Next, we have and last we have Nintendo of America's president. So this is last. We have Nintendo of America's president, Dog Bowser, which is an extremely cool name. That's Bowser. On Twitter, out and biking today. Now that we're opening up our restrictions, and you can see him on Twitter engaging within the mountains. I don't know where that is, but he's just riding his bike out in some big mountains. And the thing that made me laugh, to read them, is that you see some of the people making references due to the picture for a new Excitebike game. Which, if you guys don't know, they had a release for an Excitebike game on the Wii, which was very small, but it was fun. It did its job, and I think a new Excitebike game would do fantastic on the Switch. A lot of games that are bite-sized games do well on the Switch because it is a hybrid. So it can't be too much of a bite size. It can't be a mobile bite, like you just no. It has to be a hybrid of sorts. And there was also references to the Switch Pro.
I saw that one
You're
too.
telling him that he looks like a pro. Well, how do you feel about this, Mark?
I like it. I like seeing Nintendo people outside of gaming, seeing their personal interests. I think we haven't really seen that with other people. Besides, actually, no, we've never seen it. Even for as much as we saw of Reggie, we never really got to see what he does on his free time. So that's pretty cool. But like we were talking about before the stream, he seems like a very interesting figure, but it doesn't seem like he wants to be in front of the camera all the time like Reggie was. And I even think Reggie maybe didn't even realize how much of a meme he was until after the fact. Like, he became a meme as time went on, but at first I don't think the whole idea was we got to turn this guy into a walking meme machine.
No, he said it. I remember 2012. Yes. It took his daughter telling him, I think it was one of his kids, I'm sorry. It took one of his kids telling him that he was a meme. He was very liked online for him to realize, oh. And then I think it was within the last couple of E3s that he was like, embrace, and then he did the Reginator, and
yeah. He that might happen to Doug Bowser too. Like, right now, he's not really front and center, in front of the camera for Nintendo. But as time goes on, maybe he might become like that. Maybe he has to adapt to it, because Reggie took him a while too. So we'll see. But as far as an Excitebike, I would love a new Excitebike. I would love them to modernize it a bit. Make it like Excitebike 64, but kind of even more modern.
When you get a chance, look up Excitebike on the Wii. It looked.
I'll check it out.
Okay.
I mean, I didn't even know they were making one for them. I saw Excite Truck, and I remember Excite Bugs or something like that. They made on the Excite Truck. I actually had it for the Wii because there wasn't a lot of games at first. The launch was pretty dry, and Excite Truck was like one of the few games that held my attention for a while when it first came out. But yeah, man, maybe this guy he's gonna come into form after a couple years of his position. It's gonna probably take him a while to get comfortable, and for the internet to show him that he needs to be more of a internet personality like Reggie was. So yeah. We'll see. But he seems like an alright guy. He seems cool.
Yeah.
I'm all right with him. His name is cool, like you said, Bowser. It's appropriate. You know what I'm saying?
Have you ever played Bomberman at all?
Me personally, I played Bomberman on the 64. I didn't play Bomberman R, but I do like what I've seen of it, because it has a lot of costumes. It has you can dress up like Solid Snake and Simon Belmont. A lot of Konami love in there, since Konami owns the property right now. But if it's free to play, I might just download it and see if I get around to it eventually. But it's not exactly on my radar, to be honest with you.
Right. Well, if you guys liked any of the stories we brought up, or you want us to bring any particular stories up on the podcast, hit us up on our particular social medias for the podcast with either Bravery Arcade or Master Patch. Guys, this is the end of the podcast,
Hurrah.
and thank you so much for stopping by.
Yeah, baby boy. How we end this, my boy? Make sure you guys leave us a review on Apple one last time.
Guys, make sure you leave us a like. Make sure you leave us a subscribe. And leave us a review on Spotify, on Apple, on YouTube. And my Twitch is twitch.tv/Sinfanta. And
My Twitch is twitch.tv/Bravery Arcade.
it is the end of the podcast. Have a good night. And as always,
Mission complete.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
We await your return, brave hearts.